Hey Outlaws, so to no one's surprise, or at least you shouldn't be surprised, some of you might be angry, but you should be surprised. Cyberpunk Edgerunners has won Anime of the Year. As of March 4th, it has taken the slot, and it's taken away from a lot of other animes that some people probably liked more, some people appreciated more, some people liked them because they weren't tied to the evil corporate elite that has become CD Projekt Red after it decided to quite catastrophically push out a game that was nowhere near ready and has nowhere near to fulfill its promise. But we're not just going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why it won Anime of the Year, what this person's opinions are, other people's opinions are as well. We're also going to talk about Phantom Liberty DLC. Actually, might release a little bit sooner than we expected. People's opinion again of whether or not there's really no saving Cyberpunk 2077, or at least the current game as it is. And, which should be a surprise to everybody, Cyberpunk 2077 is officially Steamdeck verified. So we're going to talk all about that today. So, if you're new here, we always appreciate that like and subscribe. I know you're smart and intelligent enough to know that, but supposedly if you just ask someone nicely, they'd be more willing to do that. Alright, Outlaws, let's do this. Okay, so CDPR, like, when they announced that they had an anime coming out with their Cyberpunk 2077, I was like, oh, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be awful. It's going to be like some crazy propaganda piece. It's going to be a bunch of junk in it nobody's going to like. It's yikes. And it might be a nightmare. Quite the opposite, actually. I do remember Jenny actually got into it first. I wasn't even going to bother with it, so she takes full credit for that idea. And I remember the first two episodes, I was like, man, this kid's an idiot, man, this kid's an idiot. And then it went for those two episodes, all of a sudden, she's just like, it was huge. It was absolutely insane. So, I obviously wasn't the only person who thought that, because I did buy the game like a year after it came out, and then give it some time to like slowly get rid of all the bugs and junk. But this anime was just amazing. It was a fantastic, more modern Romeo and Juliet, even though they both don't die at the end. But let's be honest, she's kind of dead inside a little bit after she lost her guy. It is what it is. Yep. Okay, so let's tell you what it says here. It says, in this article says, now, Cyberpunk Edgerunners has been honored with one of anime's highest awards. It has won Anime of the Year at the 2023 Anime Awards. Not an Emmy, but who cares? Yeah, seriously, who cares about the Emmys? It's about as close as you can get. And then there's the crew right here. Yep. I think also that song helped out. The song that nobody paid attention to, sung by those two, looks like college girls, high school girls. Yeah, my man David just he didn't make it, but he left one hell of a good tragedy story. And that was kind of things too that really helped with Cyberpunk and sell it, is that it was a tragedy. There was no way it was going to have a happy ending. And in Cyberpunk, there is never really any happy endings if you actually play the games. Most of it is just, it's melancholy at best. It's bittersweet. Bittersweet. It's a little late today. Very, very bittersweet. So there's really no happiness to it, but this game, or this anime here, just nailed it just perfectly. And also helped revive a lot of hype about the game. Got people to go back to play it. And also had helped people go out and find all of these different characters' weapons as well. As they go back to the game, like, oh yeah, I remember that part of the anime. I remember that part of the anime. So it really, really brought back that nostalgia feel that like, oh, that's so cool. I remember this part. I remember that part. Or people go out and search for it. I remember you could not go anywhere on YouTube if you clicked on Cyberpunk. There was not somebody trying to show you David's apartments, the main girl's apartments, their shared apartments. This is where they went on their first date. There's the gun over here. Here's this girl's gun over there. All that. So quite a fantastic feat. So congratulations, CD Projekt Red, for pulling yourselves out. And it did. The anime did pull them out of the gutter that they were in. But at least very much it played a big part. Okay. I don't want to play that because I don't want to get demonetized. Alright, now, moving forward with that, congratulations, Edgerunners. Cyberpunk, the Phantom Liberty DLC, that will be the last DLC and the only DLC of Cyberpunk, which I am still, in my opinion, is not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Like, you have such a huge platform in that game. If you would just keep building off of it, you could do so much more. You can deliver more and more to fans and then keep that little city alive for quite a while. But that's just me saying it. If you already have a base, you already have a platform, use it. Okay, so now I'm saying that it will probably release a little bit sooner than actually expected because they've been slowly pushing forward. Okay, so up here in the article states that Phantom Liberty DLC promises to refresh life, to Night City with a slew of new content and the highly anticipated expansion may finally be on the horizon. Sharp-eyed Steam users have uncovered some exciting information regarding the game's 1.7 patch, which is directly linked to the release of Phantom Liberty. And so Edgerunners might want to strap up for the adventure, as it will likely be on the way sooner rather than later. Okay, so what's going on with the 1.7 patch is it's on its way. It says lead foundations for it. Now, I'm looking through here. It doesn't give an exact date, but here's this. Congratulations to the winners. Okay, here's the update to the music contest, the one where Sasha Grey was the voice, and I created a very YouTube inappropriate thumbnail for that Sasha Grey's voice, but that's on the old channel, so it wasn't really brought over here. It is what it is. Okay, so let's see if we find a more closer date onto this one. Okay, so supposedly patch 1.7 is the next one. It's gonna be right around the corner, and they're gonna knock it out pretty fast. And seeing where it takes us from there. Okay. Exposing frequent internal... Okay, so they're talking again about the fan-made radio station where, again, Sasha Grey was there and people would, like, submit their radio station contest, which I kind of made a comment. It was like, it's kind of a smart way to kind of get free work done for you and then also bring the fans back in as well. So, good times. All right, moving on. So, that I'm going to call that one kind of a bust. There really wasn't a date given. They're just saying, hey, it might be sooner than you think. It sounds more like just pointless hype. Now, this is an opinion piece from Paul Tassi. Is there really no saving Cyberpunk 2077? A lot of people are saying no. I know Kotaku, but I consider Kotaku a rag, a more like opinion piece rag for a certain political mindset. I don't want to give them any really clout, but they kind of mention them here. So, well, technically, I'm reviewing a re-review over at Kotaku from Luke Plunkett, a writer whose work I like. Well, Kotaku. It talks a lot about Cyberpunk 2077's history and the current state of the game, but it's a lot of attention and declares there's no saving it, even though I'm not sure that's actually supported by the content of the piece. However, I have to say I disagree also with Luke Plunkett's. I think you could save it, and I do think you can further expand upon it. And who knows? CD Projekt Red might change plans. They had said they have had their team move on and start building the other games on the next video games. And they have tons of projects coming out. But realistically, if it did well, the DLC, and there was enough funding for it, I would say you could build off of the current existing game and the current existing platform. They would just have to be willing to do it. There's a lot of empty space in Night City, like tons of empty space. When I was always driving around doing missions, even my fancy computer I have here, which is fancy-ish, it wouldn't load everything properly, it'd be kind of slow, and oftentimes the city would just become off as really, really dead. And for them just to completely throw all out, all that hard work, I really feel is a very huge mistake, and they could monopolize off of that or build off that baseline they already had and create numerous other stories that would really vibrate with their current audience, and myself included, and keep expanding upon that, like DLC after DLC, in order to really bring Night City back to life. And then, kind of like with Skyrim, have a game that's just timeless, and it keeps being sold, and it keeps being bought up by more and more people. Most will never forget what CD Projekt Red did, and with their failed launch, and the dishonest practices, the unoptimized games, all of that. But, if you really want a game that's lasts the test of time, keep building off of what you already have and then finally deliver that promise. And with the cost of video games these days and the amount of man time, hours, crunch, all that, I don't really feel like even leaving behind a game that you've developed, like the whole system, the server, the whole like file, is a great idea when you could just keep building, expanding upon it. Especially something like Cyberpunk 2077, where you just have so much potential that you continue to build off of. And that's been my opinion since I first started covering Cyberpunk. It's like, why throw it away when you could just keep building off of it? I'm not going to waste too much time with this article. Basically, just give different ideas, but I've already given you mine, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, last and probably least. So when I saw Steam Deck come out, I was thinking, like, isn't the days of Game Boy dead? Is it kind of like something like, you don't really need that anymore? But here it is. So if I were to sit here and tell you that I know tons of things about Steam Deck, how it works, how well it performs, I would be lying to you. I have not looked into it. I know it costs about $400, maybe $500. How smooth it is, I have no idea. My assumption is it is all graphics based and graphics focused. I do know that it is fairly successful. It plays all the games on the Steam library. And it's portable, and you can bring it with you, which is insane. I didn't think we would still be doing that in this modern era where a gaming platform such as this would still be portable. But maybe that's also because you had success with Nintendo Switch, which also proved that portable game systems are still viable. They still work, and obviously it's pretty big, but you get the smaller version of the Switch Lite. But this right here never looked small to me. It looked quite thick, which you kind of need to be if you're playing PC-type games. So congratulations, Cyberpunk. You did it. You are now verified on Steam Deck, so you continue to succeed and continue to move up. Anyways, Outlaws, this was a long one. I had a bit of a rough patch here with the talking about the DLC coming sooner. I guess they didn't really tell us much of a date at all, but it is what it is. We'll see you next time.